Let's unbox some microphones, shall we? All right, guys. So a friend of mine lent these microphones that he bought recently to me to try out, do an initial unboxing and maybe like a review video at some point. This video is just going to be my unboxing and my initial thoughts. And then also you will hear a voiceover using both of these microphones so you can compare it to this audio, which is my SM7B. So I will get into that a little more in more detail in a bit. But for now, let me just explain what we're doing here. So the microphones that we are unboxing are the Aston microphones, the Spirit mic and the Origin mic. And the ones that I have are part of this limited edition bundle that was recently put out. So it's the Spirit mic and the Origin mic are the two microphones. But then the bundles that I am trying out are not the standard Spirit and Origin microphones. So it's the Origin Black bundle and then the Spirit Black bundle. The Spirit Black bundle is still available on the Aston Microphones website. I'll put a link in the description below. And the Origin Black bundle is sold out. But to my understanding, it looks like they're the same microphones as the standard ones. They just have, this super sleek black wrapping around the microphone. So they look a little different. And then they come with the shock mount and the pop filter, which I'm not sure if those are sold separately from the standard ones, but it's all in one bundle for these black bundle versions. So, all right, so we are going to unbox these, take a look at them, talk about initial thoughts, and try them out and listen to them. But before we get started, I just wanted to give a shout out to Nick at Evan Diamond. The band is Evan Diamond in the Library, and they are the ones that lent me these microphones to try them out. So thank you so much for letting me try these. I really appreciate it. It's been a ton of fun. Thank you so much. And if you're watching this video, go check out their music. I'll put a link in the description below. And they have an album that we're currently working on that will be coming out soon. COVID kind of stagnated the process on this album. We started it at the end of last year, actually. And we've been waiting for a while to schedule a vocal session to finish it up. So, that is coming up soon, and the album should be out pretty soon after that. So check out their music. It's Evan Diamond in the Library. There will be a link below, and thank you so much to Nick for lending these microphones to me. So I guess I will continue to show you guys some B-roll of the unboxing while I overlay my random thoughts about the microphones while using them. And for these tests, I'm just taking my SM7B and my cloud lifter out of the signal chain, and I'm putting these microphones in its place, in the place of those things. So you should be able to compare them to the SM7B pretty easily in this video, because I am sitting in the same position at my desk with my computer whirring. You can hear the fan going. It's loads of fun. But I'm doing that just so that you can actually compare the two a little bit better. Yeah. I guess let's get started. All right, so here I am talking into the Spirit. So you can actually compare this to my other audio that I usually have for my YouTube video, because what I did here is usually I have an SM7B and it's plugged into a cloud lifter, which is then plugged into my Great River preamp. And so what I've done is I've taken the cloud lifter and the SM7B out, and I've replaced them with this Spirit, the Aston mic Spirit microphone. So I am not in a booth. I am at my desk like I usually am for my YouTube videos, and everything else is held constant. So you should be able to compare the two. So I'm just going to talk about some of my initial thoughts with this microphone, and then I'm also going to test out the other one, which is, let me look which one this is. The Origin. Yeah, the Origin. All right, so some initial thoughts. I love the packaging. I'm kind of looking back and forth here too, so you can kind of hear as I tilt my head off the axis what it sounds like. This is just going to be me being distracted this whole time. But so that's what that sounds like. I'm currently in the Cardioid polar pattern. So this is Cardioid. I'll flip the switch in a bit and you can hear the other polar patterns. But I am using the Shield, the pop filter. So this is with the pop filter. One of my initial thoughts is that I really like that it's a metal pop filter, especially right now with COVID. So, it's a lot easier to clean a thin sheet of metal pop filter than it is to clean one that has fabric in it. So I kind of do like that. I'm not a professional cleaning expert or anything, so grain of salt. Cleaning microphones is, oh my gosh, it's a little intimidating. So I do like that it's a metal pop filter. Let's see. I'm looking at the box here. And both of these microphones, I believe, are condenser microphones, so they will need phantom power, right? Condenser microphones are great for studio use. This one sounds pretty cool so far. I'm going to have to listen back. But let's see. This one has multiple polar patterns, like I mentioned. So it has Omni, Cardioid, and figure 8. So I will mess around with those in a moment. But other than that, it's got a pad. So it's got regular and then -10 or -20 dB. So I guess you can use this on like high SPL instruments, so things like maybe kick drums or whatever. It's got the pad, so you can use it on those ladder instruments. So, oops, bumping the mic. I didn't hear a big bump, so that's good. Bumped the mic and it didn't cause a huge issue. Let's see, what else? 80 hertz bass cut. Cool, so you can cut the bass. So for example, right now with my voice, I don't think we would need any audio below 80 hertz, right? My voice doesn't go that low for sure. So we could put that cut on and that would help clean up the audio a little bit right off the bat. So that's one of the things that we use that for. So that's really cool. That's a good feature to have. Let's see, I'm just looking at this description on the box here for my initial thoughts. High specification, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Cool. So let me look at the actual microphone here. I'm probably going to put some B-roll footage of my actual unboxing for you guys here. So I like the pop filter. I like the shock mount a lot. So instead of having those traditional like hair tie looking elastics, it has this stuff that's like almost like a silicone rubbery material, and it looks really cool. So it seems to work just as well too, just from this initial usage. So that's pretty cool. Part of it is just me being attracted to how it looks. So that's, take it or leave it. It's visual stuff doesn't matter so much with microphones, right? I did a NAMM video a while back where I actually went and talked to these guys at their booth, and they were telling me how like indestructible these microphones are. So I will put a card up on the screen for you guys to check out that video if you're curious about that. It sounds like you can literally run these over with a car and they should be okay. So it seems like that's a pretty cool feature that, unlike ribbon microphones, for example, these are going to be a little harder for you to break, I would hope, with that type of advertising that they're doing for it. It sounds pretty good so far. So I also like, one of the things that I actually really, really love about this design is the way the shock mount opens up for you to put the microphone in. So a lot of times when we have like the more traditional shock mounts, it's really hard to actually like press down on the little clips to then open it up and get the microphone in. And this one, it's just so much easier. It's got these big, instead of having like felt pads that then like roll up over time and become harder to use, it's got this little like silicone looking pressure points, I guess, these little silicone looking pads that attach to the actual microphone. And it's really easy, just one-handed, to open this thing up with the little I don't know what you would call it, but it's like the counter lever that you would use to open up the clip. So just from using this initially, and then from my experience with other types of shock mounts, this one's actually really, really easy to use and easy to just load up that microphone one-handed without fumbling and risking dropping the mic or what have you. So I really like that part of this design. Let's see what else. I love the texturing on these. I believe these are a special edition. So the texturing, I think, is part of the special edition, which is really cool. It just looks sleek. It feels really sleek, high quality. The microphones feel heavy and, they just don't feel dinky. Not that actually needs to correlate with mic quality, but, it's just initial thoughts here for the unboxing. So let me try messing with the different settings on this one so we can hear the difference, and then I will switch over to the other microphone and maybe talk a little bit more. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so right now I'm on Cardioid. I'm going to switch it over to figure 8. So this is figure 8, so I'm in front of the microphone right now. I'm going to move around to the side. I am now at the side of the microphone, and now I'm going to move to the back of the microphone, standing in a very awkward position over my desk. That's the back of the microphone. And then I'm going to come back around to the front because I can't do full circle around my desk here. And now I'm on the left side of the microphone. And now I'm going back to the back of the microphone. So, and I just bumped the microphone. So if you hear that, that's what that is. I have noticed with cheaper microphones that if you like touch the microphone, it just makes this huge noise. So whenever it doesn't give it away that you touched it as much, I do kind of think of that as a quality thing. All right, so that's the figure 8. It sounded pretty good. It had good rejection on the sides the way you would expect to from a figure 8. I'm going to switch over to Omni. And it took it a second to switch over. I'm actually handling the mic right now. I'm pushing it up in the pop filter so I can see these buttons a little better. This is Omni. You probably hear my computer whirring a little bit more. I've been recording for a few minutes, so my computer is the fan's starting to go. You're probably hearing it a little bit more. You could compare this to like the middle section of some of my YouTube videos when you start to hear that fan going. Again, I'm doing it here instead of in a booth for continuity and for your ability to then compare it in terms of the sound to my other videos and also to the sound from my SM7 in the same space. So this is the omnidirectional setting, so it's going to pick up sound from all directions equally. I'm just going to stand up. I'm going to go above the microphone. So this is me directly above the microphone, directly to the right of the microphone. I'm going to go directly to the left of the microphone. And you can hear the difference, but you know, it's picking up from all directions much better than with the Cardioid or the figure 8. So now I'm behind the microphone, a little bit to the left, but behind the microphone. And now I'm in the front. Cool. And one of the things here, I'll probably put a photo in here for you guys, is that this metal pop filter, it snaps right onto that shock mount. So that's a pretty cool feature. I don't have to, finagle it onto a stand. If you've ever used the more standard pop filters that attach directly to the mic stand, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's really easy to just clip this one directly onto the shock mount. I find it to be an easier and better user experience. So there's that. Let's see. I'm going to put this back onto Cardioid. Okay, and now I'm going to try the 80 Hertz Roll Off. So this is without the 80 Hertz Roll Off. I'm going to add this in here. And this is with the 80 Hertz Roll Off. So you shouldn't hear a huge difference because we're listening to my voice here. But just so you know, this is with the 80 Hertz Roll Off. You might hear some difference in the background sounds. But yeah, there's that. Here we are. This is probably how I would set it if I were just recording a voiceover or some standard vocal stuff, or doing my YouTube videos with this microphone, which I am currently doing, but you know what I mean. This is how I would set it. So now I'm going to also mess around with the pads. You guys know how pads work, right? It's just going to reduce the decibel level of the microphone going in. So, there shouldn't be any surprises here, but let's listen to it anyway. So I'm going to go from 0 to, let's see, I'll do the -10 first. All right, so here we are with the -10 decibel roll off. Definitely made a difference. Surprise. Cool. So now I'm going to switch it over and we're going to do the -20 roll off. So now we're in the -20 roll off. It should be pretty quiet. I'm going to try not to mess with this audio too much when it goes out to YouTube. Hopefully YouTube's not changing stuff too much on its own, but this should be pretty quiet to you guys. So I'm going to push it back. So I think that's it for the Spirit microphone. My initial thoughts when unboxing it. I'm going to switch over to the Origin mic now so we can hear that one. So bear with me. All right, so now I'm on the Origin mic, and I actually just listened back to the audio from the Spirit mic while I was swapping the mics out, and I really like how it sounds. Like, it just has a good, clear, crisp sound. It sounds full to me. So just, I just listened to less than a minute so far, but I really like how it sounds. And, we will have that SM7B audio in this video somewhere, probably towards the beginning for you guys, so you will be able to compare the two. But now I'm on the Origin. Right now, I do not have, this one doesn't have polar pattern options. So I'm betting that it's Cardioid. Let me check. Condenser microphone. So they're both condenser microphones. I was right on that. So again, phantom power. You need to have phantom power to run a condenser microphone. So let me see. It's got the same frequency range. They both say that they're 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, which, is considered the standard range of human hearing. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good range. Doesn't mean a whole ton in the microphone world, but if you have a tiny range, that's not good. That's for sure. So let's see. Although Maybe I shouldn't say things that conclusive, because depending on the application, you might want a microphone with a small frequency range. But let's see. I'm not seeing anything on the polar pattern here. I can just kind of go around the mic and we can listen. So I'm going to the right of the microphone. I'm going to the back of the microphone. The back of the microphone. Yeah, so it sounds like it's cardioid, because it sounded like it was rejecting pretty well over there. So let me go to the top of the microphone. Top of the microphone. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it sounds like it's cardioid. So yeah, so this microphone, let's see, it doesn't have the polar pattern options, but cardioid's great for vocal applications. I'd say most of the stuff we do in the studio involves using a cardioid polar pattern, but it does depend on what you're doing and how you want to do it. And there are a million options out there, blah, 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 disclaimer. So cool. So it's sounding good so far. So this does have a roll off on it. I'm guessing it's probably the same roll off as the other microphone. So it's probably an 80 Hertz roll off. The little icon on the roll off does show that it's a high pass. So I'm guessing it's about the same. So this is without the roll off, and I'm going to switch it over to having the roll off. Okay. So this is with the roll off. Again, I would probably use the roll off if I was talking into the mic, if I am not using it to record a really low frequency instrument. You guys know that, don't you? One thing I like about both these microphones is there's actually a little pamphlet in here talking about all the environmental stuff that they do. So it says, for example, I'm just going to read from their thing here, but it says eco considerations have been at the forefront of their product and packaging development since day one. So they talk about how all their packaging is made with recycled or recyclable materials. So it's 99% recycled and 100% recyclable. So that's really cool. And then they also talk about the actual microphone production process and how so for example, I'm going to read again here. The tumbled steel chassis on the Origin, Spirit, and Starlight microphones require none of the chemical processes involved in the paint, powder, or other finishes found on the majority of mics, while the Aston Halo reflection filter is made from a patented PET felt using 70% recycled plastic bottles. So that's really cool. I love that they're at least conscious about that stuff. So sounds like they're a pretty good company to support. Other than that, some other initial thoughts. This microphone also comes with the same shock mount and pop filter. So all the stuff I said about those two things stand true for this microphone as well. I do really like the design on these pop filters and shock mounts. Another thing that both microphones have, right, is you can attach the shock mount to your mic stand, but then the microphone itself also has threading on the bottom of it. So I'll probably have some B-roll at some point in this video so you can see that. So you can attach the mic directly to a mic stand if you like. So this microphone, the Origin, it is smaller than the other one. It has fewer features at first glance, right? So not having those different polar patterns, for example, it only has one roll-off option, which I'm going to look at it here. Yeah, so it only has one roll-off option, which is the -10 decibels roll-off. So it doesn't have the 20 option. So it's just a simpler, more streamlined microphone than the other one. We will hear how it sounds. You are currently hearing how it sounds. I will hear how it sounds in a minute here. It's kind of, I'm listening on my headphones, but it's kind of hard to hear while you're talking. So the playback is the true test, for me at least. So that's pretty cool. I don't know what else to say about this microphone. I like how heavy these microphones are. That's a dumb thing to like. I do have to look up the price point for these, so I'm not exactly sure what the price point is on these, but it sounds like, you know, they have a comparable quality to more expensive microphones for sure. And we all know, like, there's some variety here with price points and microphones. You can't necessarily look at the price point and know, you know, quote unquote quality of the mic and whether or not it's going to be good for whatever application you're using it for. So you can't, it's not like a 1-to-1 ratio there with price point and quality, but it is interesting to look at, and it is worth looking at when you're considering buying a mic for sure. So this has just become my thoughts on microphones. Yeah, cool. So I think that's that. I mean, so this is the Origin mic. You can hear it. Let me know what you guys think. It sounds pretty good to me so far. And, you know, let me know. I am borrowing these mics from a friend. So first of all, I can't test how indestructible they are, so I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry, guys. But if you want a more in-depth review of the microphone instead of just my initial unboxing and initial thoughts and listening to me talking into it, then let me know and maybe I can borrow the microphone again. So yeah, I think that's about it. Maybe I will switch to my SM7B again to do the outro, just so you can have one final point of comparison here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Oh, but let me do the pad first. So I'm going to press this pad. So now this is the -10 decibel pad on this microphone. And again, just like with the last microphone, I left the preamp settings the same. So this is that pad option. Cool. Switching it back and switching it out. All right, guys, so I am back on my trusty SM7B. It's definitely a quieter microphone, but I'm sure we all know that. It's like famous for being a quieter microphone. This is actually just happens to be the same preamp setting that I used for the Aston microphones. Usually what I do is I do record it kind of quiet because I'm not monitoring my levels while I'm recording, and then I boost it a little bit for my YouTube. So just so you know, it's the same preamp setting. I do have a cloud lifter in the signal chain right now that I did not have for the Aston Origin microphones, but just so you can compare, here we go. This is my SM7B. So I'll just say some thoughts that I have after looking up the Aston microphones website and listening back to the microphones. So if you're following along on the website, the microphones that I just tested out are the Origin Black Bundle and then the Spirit Black Bundle. So it's the Origin and the Spirit microphone. It just has this like limited edition black finish, and then it comes with the shock mount and the pop filter. So it looks like the Origin Black Bundle is sold out right now as of filming this, but the Spirit Black Bundle is not, and it is $4.99 in US dollars. It looks like 449 euros and then 399 pounds. So, it's a little more expensive than the SM7B, the microphone that I'm talking into right now, which is, again, a standard vocal mic. I'm sure you guys know that. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that at least. So the SM7B is usually $3.99 US dollars, whereas this one is $4.99 US dollars for the Spirit, the bigger microphone. But that's for the Spirit Black Bundle. So let's look at the Spirit by itself. Oh, it's $4.49. So it's still a little more expensive than the 7B, but it does have, it sounds really good. It has a healthy signal level. It doesn't have the same issues that we have with the SM7B in terms of being really quiet. It sounds really good on vocals, at least so far. That's what I've tested it on. So yeah, I've heard these are good on guitars as well. I could totally see them being really good on guitars, the way it picks up my voice. And it does have, those polar pattern options. The SM7B does have some roll off and boost, I think, a pad option as well. Let me look at this. I should know this. It's my microphone. I set these switches on the bottom of the SM7B a long time ago, and then I just never changed them. But we do have some options with the SM7B. User experience isn't quite as good as the Aston microphones one because, they have the little icons on the microphone and the switches are on the side of the microphone. They're really easy to switch over and understand. If you look at what the icons are and what those icons mean, if you understand that, then it's pretty easy. Although there has been the argument made that the SM7B, having those switches at the bottom of the microphone that are harder to switch over, harder to press, so to speak, to move, that means that, for example, if you're an audio engineer and you're working with a client, the client is less likely to accidentally bump it and switch it over. But honestly, I've never had that happen with the standard switches that are like the ones that you see on the Spirit. So there's that. Oh, I like how on their website for the Spirit, they say, a beautifully open sound with sparkling harmonics. That's lovely. It does have a great balance. I really like the frequency balance in my voice without even processing it at all. So I am really impressed with the sound of this microphone. So yeah, I think either of these microphones, after having listened back and tried them out a little bit, just a little bit, would be really good for vocals, for instruments like guitars, stuff like that. Either the Origin or the Spirit, they both sound great. And they're a pretty good price point compared to a lot of other microphones on the market. They seem well designed, well thought out. I like them. I might have to get the Spirit for myself. Cool. So the Origin microphone is actually a large diaphragm condenser mic, and it says that it has a 1-inch gold evaporated capsule. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I think it'd be a good all around like general purpose microphone. And apparently they hand select I'm like reading the stuff online about it right now. I'm just hanging out, talking to the microphone, reading stuff online. This is weird. Anyway, apparently they hand select the capsules and then they pair it with high-end transformerless balanced circuitry. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. It just seems like they put a lot of thought into the design of this microphone, and then the sound really shows that. I really like the sound of both these microphones so far. I haven't tried them on a ton of things yet, but just from listening to them initially on my voice, I have a feeling it'd be pretty good across a range of applications. And just one more thought about the Origin versus the Spirit. I did just listen back, and I think I do like the sound of the Spirit a little bit more. It just sounds a little more full. It just sounds a little more full in terms of the frequency spectrum. It just sounds a little bit better to me, at least for my voice specifically. So I think I do like the Spirit, the sound of the Spirit, a little bit more than the Origin. It just seems a little bit better, but it could have been how I was sitting at the mic. There are a million different factors there. And for all I know, they're manufactured in a similar way. So I'm not 100% on that, but listening back, it does sound like the Spirit is a little more full sounding than the Origin. And I mean, you guys can listen back and tell me what you think, but it feels like the high ends on the Spirit are just a little bit gentler, and in the Origin, they're a little harsher, and it just sounds like the Spirit is just ever so much more full sounding. Yeah. So I think if I were to get one of these, I would get the Spirit. But that's me personally. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear what you guys think after hearing these sound samples. And then maybe some of you have these mics and can weigh in as well with your experience. So I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments below. But yeah, initial impressions, the Spirit is a very clear, clean sounding mic, and I really like how it sounds. So yeah, I think that's about it. I'm not sure what else to say here. So let me know what you guys think of this. It's just an initial thoughts and initial unboxing video for both of these microphones. So I think that's about it. You know, as usual, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I would appreciate all that stuff. And, you know, if you do want access to additional content, you can join my Patreon. So it's patreon.com/CatoNoise. I do post additional content for my Patreon patrons on the Patreon site. And then I also have additional content on my website, which is CatoNoise.com. So you can kind of preview what the topics are for that content before you actually join the Patreon. So I would encourage you all to go check that out. It really helps support my channel. It helps keep this channel going. Yeah. So enough with my shameless self-promotion. I come out with new videos every Wednesday, and thank you for watching. Okay. Where are the pieces? Where is everything? Okay.